Welcome to This Explainer. We are jumping right into a massive wave of 90s nostalgia today. We're looking at a classic childhood journey to Nani's house, which of course is Grandma's house. It's like a giant puzzle of sensory overload, sudden chaos, and just pure, unfiltered joy. If you grew up taking those long, winding train rides to see your grandparents, well, buckle up because this is going to resonate deeply with you. So, do you remember the absolute thrill of packing your favorite toys for a summer trip? Think back to that incredible sensory rush. Our story kicks off on a completely normal morning. The kids are just chilling, watching morning cartoons, eating a hot breakfast, and then, ring, the phone goes off. It's Grandma. And literally in a split second, the whole mundane morning is flipped upside down. The parents announce they're leaving for the village tomorrow. The sheer electricity of sudden childhood travel plans, it's completely unmatched. You drop everything. Suddenly, your biggest priority in the whole world is figuring out exactly which toys are going to make the cut. Let's walk through how this actually unfolds. Day one, morning. It's all about packing at home. There's this frantic, buzzing energy because, as the dad warns, there is no way they can miss this train. Then, by the afternoon, we're reaching the platform. It's massive, it's bustling, it's totally overwhelming. Day one, evening. They are finally boarding the train, settling in for that long overnight haul. And then the grand finale. Day two, morning, arriving at the village. This sequence right here, it's basically the ultimate blueprint of a childhood adventure. Now, when it comes to packing the 90s survival kit, a kid's priorities are, let's just say, vastly different from an adult's. The parents are frantically stuffing clothes into bags and triple-checking the train tickets. But the kids, they literally only care about the real essentials, the favorite toy, and of course, the trusty doll. The source text actually captures this perfectly. There are rumors of a storm outside, and the kids couldn't care less about the weather. They just want to make absolutely sure their trusty doll is safely tucked away. It's a hilarious reminder of how hyper-focused childhood priorities really are. Okay, the train finally pulls up, the family scrambles aboard, and then we get to the ultimate negotiation. You know the one. The window seat is mine. Honestly, there is no greater victory for a kid on a train than claiming that window seat. It is the absolute best viewing deck for the entire adventure. The parents are just trying to get everyone seated comfortably, but for the kids, the journey officially begins the exact second their faces are pressed against that glass. And you can't talk about a train trip without talking about the food, right? Look at this breakdown of the train delights versus the village feasts. The second the train starts moving, the air just fills with these incredible aromas. You've got vendors calling out, and suddenly you're sipping hot tea and eating warm samosas right at your seat. But here's the thing. That train food is just the warm-up act. Waiting for them at the village are these massive feasts, hot fritters, roasted corn on the cob, fresh fish, and warm fried bread. This journey is essentially a gateway to a culinary wonderland. But the magic absolutely wasn't just in the food. That hard-won window seat, it brought its own visual marvels. Right as they're enjoying those samosas, the sky opens up. It starts pouring heavy rain and a massive storm brews. But through that pouring rain, they spot something completely breathtaking, a beautiful peacock just dancing in the storm. I love how the source slows down the frantic, bumpy energy of the train ride right here just to appreciate this incredible moment of nature. It's those fleeting, majestic scenes out of a moving train that just burn into a child's memory forever. And then, suddenly, that peaceful viewing is violently interrupted. Screech! The train grinds to a total halt. The storm has caused some real chaos outside. Amidst the screeching brakes and the panic, you hear this. "What happened, Papa? A tree fell. Everything will be fine." An actual massive tree has fallen right onto the tracks. The source text shifts into this really suspenseful tone here. People are panicking, but right in the middle of that chaos, you hear the dad's calm, reassuring voice. He's anchoring the kids when things get genuinely scary. Thankfully, that anxiety doesn't last too long. The path gets cleared and the train moves on. There is this immense collective sigh of relief in the text. The engine roars back to life, and the journey toward the village is officially back on track. Actually, that temporary roadblock, it kind of makes reaching the final destination feel that much more earned and exciting. And they finally arrive. What a seriously heartwarming scene this is. They step off the train, and waiting right there on the platform are their grandparents. The text captures this beautiful, joyous embrace. Grandma's immediately commenting on, look how big we've grown. It's a totally universal moment, right? That warm, loving welcome just instantly washes away all the grime and exhaustion of a long overnight train ride. They are finally home. Now, the source doesn't waste any time getting into the action. We've got a 4-step itinerary of pure village joy. Step 1, a farm visit and chewing on fresh sugarcane. Step 2, they head out to the water and manage to catch a really big fish. Step 3, as evening rolls around, they're treated to amazing snacks of hot fritters and roasted corn. And then step 4, the perfect cap to a perfect day, listening to Grandma's bedtime story. It is an incredibly active, completely joyful schedule. And the sensory experience of the village just builds from there. The text so vividly describes these vast, deep green fields. You've got the tactile, sticky joy of distributing and eating fresh sugarcane. Then, the adrenaline of catching a huge fish, followed immediately by the incredible aroma of that exact same fish being cooked for dinner. The kid in the text is absolutely starving from all this running around, and their hunger is met with this mouth-watering array of fresh, tasty food. I mean, you can practically smell the hot corn just reading about it. After all that food and running wild through the fields, the energy naturally has to come down a notch. The text shifts into this warm, cozy, hushed tone. Grandma gathers all the kids around to listen to a story, her famous bedtime tales. The kids are all chiming in, eagerly saying they want to listen too. It's this beautiful, intimate tradition that completely wraps up a chaotic, joy-filled day in the village, right before they drift off to sleep. There is a really fascinating contrast between the start and the end of this trip, which we can see here. On the way out, they are excited and ready, leaving home frantically, clutching their toys and dolls, buzzing for the adventure. But on the journey back, the vibe is totally different. They are tired, exhausted even, but deeply happy. They aren't just carrying toys anymore. They're carrying these heavy, beautiful memories of dancing peacocks, fallen trees, and vast sugarcane fields. It's that bittersweet, heavy exhaustion of a trip fully lived. Because, of course, every trip has to end. The packing begins all over again, but this time it feels a lot heavier. Train time is approaching. The text outlines this incredibly emotional farewell at the station. There are final waves, telling their grandparents to stay happy and healthy, and making solemn, eager promises to return again soon. Leaving them behind is tough, but they take the deep comfort of those promises with them on the long ride back. And that brings us to our final takeaway. As they finally arrive back at their own house, completely wiped out, the children reflect on everything they've just experienced. The source leaves us with this profound, evocative thought: memories remain forever. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to ponder. What are the sensory details, the smells, the sounds, the exact sights of your own most cherished childhood journeys? Think about how those memories, much like the ones we just unpacked, continue to shape who you are today. Thanks for joining me on this incredible trip.